My name is Bradley Sutton. I've been with Accelerate for the last 7.5 years. 19 years ago, I graduated from dental school and came to work with my dad for about 3.5 years. He had sold his practice to a DSO. They sold to another DSO, which then changed the script, and he lost his practice. He was able to reopen, and my dad and I practiced together for 3.5 years before a brain tumor ended his career, and we were forced to separate that way. But watching my parents lose their retirement was really rough, really hard for us. I was completely uninterested in joining any sort of a group. When I first heard about Accelerate and the situation that Jerry wanted us to go into, I was completely turned off, just because it was, in my opinion, a DSO just like every other one. My practice here in Pocatello was very strong, but we had opened up a satellite clinic that we thought was going to be just the easiest thing ever, and it was neither awesome nor fun. Finding the right dentist was hard. Keeping things going, keeping people happy was very difficult. Accelerate was presented to me by my cousin, who is also my best friend, and we trust each other, and he was already a part and was telling me of the good things that were happening. Coincidentally, his dad also was a partner with my dad when they lost the practices, and he just reiterated to me over and over that it wasn't the same thing. This was a long-term relationship. This is something that wasn't going to be sold off to the highest bidder. It certainly was a leap of faith for my wife and I to say, yes, we need help, but we did. We desperately needed somebody to help us get to where we didn't have a heavy weight on our back with this satellite clinic. What ultimately led us to the final decision was my wife and I spent some time praying about what we should do. I was currently working with another dentist who I still am partners with, Kim Smith, and he and I shared a building, but we didn't share patients, we didn't share staff, we didn't even share supplies, and really worked well together in that situation. However, we did business so differently that every time we would consider or talk about how we could potentially merge those two practices into one, it just never happened. For a couple of years after I joined Accelerate, Kim didn't. It even got to a point where there was some contention between the two of us of how we could potentially continue working the way that we were without something changing as well. And ultimately, Kim also joined Accelerate. Accelerate was instrumental in making sure that our practices could not just coexist, but could grow exponentially together, which is where we are right now. We've got 3 dentists full-time in this practice, and we are currently looking for a 4th full-time dentist. As I look back at the last 19 years of my dental career, all of it has been wonderful, and I've had great experiences. However, these last 7.5 years have certainly been life-changing for my wife and I. One of the exercises that I love that Accelerate has us do is a have-be-do list, where we talk about the things we want to have, the people we want to be or to become, and the things that we want to do. The first time I filled out that list, it was pretty sad. Most of the things that I wanted were pretty worldly, pretty physical, monetary, financial goals. We're reaching those physical, financial, monetary goals very well. My net worth is almost triple what it was when we started with Accelerate. But my goals and values, we've been able to refine those so much more to include things that we want, not just for now, but for forever, and that move us into a future that feels good to us, that feels more comfortable for my family. And I don't just mean financially, but every aspect of my life. A lot of that I owe to Accelerate for having me go through the experience. We do talk a lot about goals and values and who I want to be, who I want to become in my life. So anybody who is considering a partnership with Accelerate or just doesn't know exactly what the next step in your career path is, I would certainly consider talking to the people at Accelerate. I don't think there's any person, any dentist who doesn't have some concerns and some situations that they're having a hard time figuring out. And having a team of professionals, trained individuals who know how to get you to that next level has been a huge benefit in my life. I would highly encourage any dentist, any of my friends, to go ahead and take the leap of faith to just talk and find out what Accelerate can do for you.